Okay.
It's ready for you at home. Here we go. 3. Whoop. Volume up. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
This is the morning stream, but it's not in the morning, it's at night. TMS PM.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to TMS PM. It's January 10th. It's Friday. It's 3:30 p.m. I'm Scott Johnson. That's Brian Ibbett. Hi, Brian Ibbett.
Hello, Scott. Happy Friday to you.
Thanks, man. I didn't sleep last night. I don't know why. I just couldn't sleep. So now I'm tired, and you have caffeine, and I don't have caffeine. I need some.
Well, I had, you know what? I did have 2 cups of coffee this morning. Well, actually, take it back. I had 3 cups because they refilled my cup. I went to a diner this morning after my weigh-in, and they refilled my cup of coffee a second time. I guess they refilled it once. They filled it once and then refilled it once.
Like a proper diner? Like a diner?
No, like a modern diner. It's a place called Steamers.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate name. I think the owner's from Cleveland.
It's just a lovely train ride around Cleveland, right? It's not.
That's right, exactly. But then after a certain time, it changes to Jack's. So it's Steamers in the morning,
Jack's at night.
Jack's at night.
Wait a minute.
This stuff writes itself.
Yeah, so forgetting how terrible those names are.
Yeah.
They really changed their name at the different time of the day? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, because they started out just as like a coffee shop. So basically it used to be almost like a Starbucks kind of coffee place in the morning, coffee only with a couple pastries.
Yeah.
Then they decided, well, we've got a kitchen because we're serving meals at night.
Mm-hmm.
So let's actually do proper breakfast food. So they kept doing that. They kept the name Steamers, and then they have the they jack at night.
They jack at night. Yeah.
Steamer in the morning, jack at night.
That's really good.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Feels like that'll be. The titles are going to be rife with whatever the hell that was all about.
Jeez, yeah, totally. That's why this is the PM show. It's funny because I'd always laughed about the Steamer's name,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd never even. You heard me finally get the joke.
Oh yeah, no, it landed all at once. We witnessed it as it happened.
We did. It was right here. You can watch it in slow motion and see the exact moment that I realized that Steamers in the morning and Jack's at night.
Yeah, good thing TMS Mashups is listening. He knows what to look for. Good job, buddy. So hey, let's get to it. So I had a weird thing happen. I was watching that movie we were doing for film Sack, The Black Hole, which starts with a 70s era style 2-minute prelude of music.
Right, a march, which I guess tells people get your popcorn and sit the F down because the movie's going to start.
Yeah, and there are other good examples of this, but most movies when they do that, they have something on screen to say,
right,
prelude or a picture of what's upcoming or something like that.
Something like that.
Just black screen, black hole, black screen.
It feels like there's going to be people who don't know about this who watch it and hold on, watching somebody's dog on my lawn.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you take your dog. You keep walking.
Uh-oh.
You keep walking.
Dropping
All right,
a big
good.
bomb. Okay.
People who don't know about this, who turn on The Black Hole for their kids on Disney Plus and say, oh, it must be broken. Let's hit the side of the TV really hard and see if we get a picture, or restart the Roku or whatever,
Right. Also, be a better parent and don't show the black hole to your kid.
Right.
Because it sucks. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's perfect for what we're going to do, but it is.
It is.
Garbage.
It is. It's so unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a strange time for Disney, which is going to be a fun part of the conversation tomorrow. I would highly recommend people listening to this who have never checked out Film Sack. I'll bet tomorrow's going to be a good one. So
it is, and it is worth seeing once with preparing yourself for Film Sack. I think if you have not seen The Black Hole, watch it tonight. It's only an hour and a half, I think.
Yeah, it's an hour and 33 minutes is all. Yeah, and it's old as dirt, and a lot of people saw it when they were kids, and they all think highly of it, or more highly of it than they should. I did. I remember it being pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it turns out I only remember like 2 things in it. So
I'll bet you and I did the same thing when we came home after watching The Black Hole. Is we got out our sketchbooks and drew pictures of Maximilian, because that at the time was the coolest damn robot.
he seems so badass.
Yeah.
And the little Vincent guy was fun to draw too. And I remember just thinking, oh, does it get any better than this? We got Star Wars now. This, oh, our lives are perfect. Yeah, none of that holds up. It's all bad. Yeah. Except the Star Wars part, that all holds up. But anyway, they tried to make a Star War, and they made an attempt, and it's not very good.
They ended up making a Phantom Menace.
Yep. First PG-rated film in the history of Disney, by the way, which is a fun little piece of trivia. So we'll get into all that stuff tomorrow. But here's what happened. At the end of it, it said, you might also like Tron or Tron Legacy, because it's talking about old, 80s, early 80s, late 70s Disney films. And I've seen Tron, the original, 1 billion times, and I thought, well, I don't want to see that. But is Legacy as bad as I remember it? I don't know. Maybe I'll just start Legacy and hear a little bit of that Daft Punk soundtrack. Might get me in the mood for a little Tron Legacy, which, by the way, came out in 2010, so it's now 10 years old.
Wow.
It's really weird to think that.
That is crazy. Jeez.
Anyway, fired it up, got a little ways into it, and yeah, that movie's a bummer. It's a real bummer. It has so much potential. Visual is dead on, except for Clue's face. That's real bad. Yeah. But we weren't very good at that stuff yet. Do that again today, and you could do a better job today.
Soundtrack's still the best thing about that movie.
Amazing soundtrack. Incredible soundtrack. Great visuals to go with the soundtrack. Anytime there's any like disc fighting, jumping around between, weird constructs, just like all the cycle stuff, that's all amazing. It's just the stupidest, boring, dumbest story. And it bums me out. Now, I know that the original Tron is not like some, Shakespeare classic. I know. But at least as a kid when I saw that, and this should have been better. So I'm just saying, Disney, call a mulligan, do it again. Try one more time. Just one more time.
The thing about Tron, the original Tron, is that we had the benefit of a video game to kind of tie all the loose ends together. It's like, ooh, I want to know more about those cool spiders running around everywhere. Oh, there's a whole level of them in Tron, the video game.
Yep.
Oh, I like light cycles. Those are cool. There's a whole level of those in the Tron video game.
No, that's true. We could keep living out our weird fantasy, but I still say it's one of the great concepts in science fiction. I love the idea that somehow Kevin Flynn figured out a way. Well, he didn't figure it out. He went to that place and got sucked in by accident, but he perfected a way to get sucked into a digital world where everything is kind of physically realized. And I love the concept. I love that idea. It's just a fun idea, and it's always been amazing to me. And that movie is such a bummer because it's not very good. I mean, worth seeing once maybe. Get the soundtrack and listen to it constantly, but at the end of the day, they should just try again. Do a do-over. I don't have a problem with that. Because now you're Disney. You're the Disney. Even 10 years ago, you weren't quite the Disney you are today. Like, you are a much bigger Disney now. So why don't you take all your millions and billions and just mush together some really great showrunners or somebody. Let's have it like a Tron series or a one-off. Put it on Disney Plus. Don't even put it in theaters. It's no skin off your nose. Please make Tron great again. Make Tron great again. Anyway.
The Tronga.
There you go. I'm a Tronga through and through.
The Tronga.
You also, okay, I can't wait to hear about this, except I guess there's not a huge story, but tell people what happened. This is amazing.
Yeah, so last night was trivia. Went to trivia with the team, but before that, I had a few hours to kill, so I thought, well, you know what? It is the peak time around the 4 p.m. to 6:30, 7 p.m. Time frame. Why don't I go drive the car around, do some Lyft, some ride share driving? It's so Lyft is a great name, but it's such a bad name too. Because I'm going to do some lifting. It doesn't make sense.
Sure.
So went out, did some driving. The first 3 or 4 rides were basically picking people up at like either their house and taking them 3 minutes away to a place where their car was being worked on. I picked up a couple that I thought was going to be my big story of TMS. Picked them up at Walmart. A dude, hurriedly coming out of the shop. I'm coming. Stop, hold on. Because his time, he's bought a shared ride, so it's like move on if the rider doesn't show up.
Right.
And then I guess his mother comes out behind him, plastered out of her mind. I don't know how you get that drunk in a Walmart, but she couldn't even speak. She was slurring so bad.
Wow.
She was hitting on me. She asked me 3 times if I was married.
Dude, somebody's mom was hitting on Brian. I love it.
Somebody's Walmart drunk mom was hitting on me.
That's amazing.
How long have you been married? 28 years. Oh, Giselle. I know it sounded like Kitty there, but that's forever my drunk sound.
Yeah.
Dropped them off, and things were starting to kind of slow down. Picked up another guy, took him to a 7-Eleven, $3 ride, but he tipped me $10.
Oh, geez.
And I was getting ready to kind of turn things off and just kind of go hang out at the bar where we do trivia, get there a little early, and schmutz around on my phone or something.
Right.
I got one last ride.
That's amazing.
And all it says is how far away the person is. Doesn't tell you how far you're going to be taking them.
Right.
Or their destination, any of that stuff. So I go to this trailer park and I pull up. And as soon as I do the little button that says I've arrived, at that point, I can tap on their icon, their avatar, and find out where they're going. It doesn't tell me how far, it just tells me their end destination.
That's weird.
Which
They
is
shouldn't they tell you that ahead of time, or it just didn't this
they
case?
used to.
Okay.
They used to, and I think you have to be gold level now for them to do it. And that means I need to do probably another 200 rides or something
That's
to get back to that level.
Okay. Seems like a weird thing to withhold. I don't know.
It does. I mean, because I think people will say, "Oh, I don't want to drive that far," and cancel, and then people are stuck out there with no ride because
I guess so, yeah.
everybody cancels. Or even worse, it's really the short rides that from the Facebook group. Man, if you want to see a wretched hive of scum and villainy, go to the Facebook Lyft and Uber group for your city and just read through the comments. You want to find people that hate people.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like, oh, this guy totally, wanted me to drive him into the mountains, and then, I had no way to get back, so I canceled that ride.
Uh-huh. Is this so I found something called the Utah Uber Lyft Apex Drivers Public Group. Is something like
There
that?
you
Is
go.
that what I'm looking for?
Yeah, read through. I don't know what the Apex is, but unless Apex is like a local rideshare company or something. But
Oh, I don't know. All right, I'm going to try to join one of these because that sounds like a whole lot of fun to get this kind of dirt.
it's like reading Best of Next Door.
Yeah, for sure. I'm guessing there's tons of stories. But anyway, so you get this.
Totally. So I get this ride at this trailer park, and I only ever do this if the person takes a long time to come to the car, because I don't want to be sitting there looking at their avatar while they get in the car and say, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, exactly.
Not that it matters. Like, I'm just seeing where you're going, so I have an idea of how far we're going.
Right.
But I tap on it, and the destination, the woman's name is Daniela.
Mhm.
And the destination is a strip club on the other side of town called Dandy Dan's.
I love it. That's a great part of this story. There's a name for the place that I love.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, how am I familiar with this place? I've never been inside Dandy Dan's,
Mm-hmm.
but once before I could drive, I was hanging out at my grandmother's house with my Uncle George, who I've talked about a lot.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we get a call from my grandfather, Uncle George's dad, who says, "My car," a thick Hungarian accent, "My car is stuck. My car stopped working. I need you to come pick me up." All right, where are you? When it started breaking down, I pulled into a parking lot at Dandy Dan's. Actually, he just gave us the address. We didn't realize where we were going until we actually pulled into the parking lot and said, "Oh, car broke down." Funny how you went into that far parking space really close to the front door instead of this one here by where you would get off
So
the street.
you guys do not seem convinced that he was giving you the straight scoop on that. It seemed
Not
like
at all.
maybe-
So that's
okay.
how I'm familiar with Dandy Dan's. And
All
this
right.
is again, not a great part of town. We went from a bad part of town
Mhm.
through all of the good parts of town back to another bad part of town. But
Okay.
so as soon as I realized she's going to Dandy Dan's, I'm thinking, all right, well, she could be a bartender, she could be a waitress, she could be a Nope, she's definitely a stripper. so you're getting the car.
So did she smell nice? Was she like
That is the only thing really that I can tell you. So first thing is she gets in, she buckles up. I say, she gets in the back seat. I say, hey, I've got, if you need water, I've got a cooler right behind me with bottled water in it. Help yourself. There's charging cables in the little pull-out thing if you need to charge your phone. She says, oh, thank you. No, I'm fine. All right, cool.
You should have
And that was
said,
pretty much-
hey, everybody in the car, welcome Daniela to the center stage. Daniela to the center stage.
Savannah, you're up next in the front seat.
Yeah, I would love that. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted. Keep going.
But she, that was pretty much until the end of the ride. That was really all that was said to each other. Super quiet ride. Basically, what I do is if they talk, I talk. I start conversation, or I continue.
That makes sense, sure. Because if they want to, they'll say something, and you're sure you're good to be talkity guy or whatever. Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly not going to be the guy that says, "Oh, have you lived here long? What do you do for a living? How long have you done that?"
Wow.
But as hey, we all make a living, right? I mean, come
Sure.
on, we got to do what we got to do.
That's no problem. It's fine. I did so nothing eventful with the stripper. Just
Nothing
took her.
eventful. I basically, when she got out of the car, I said, "Hey, have a good night." She says, "All right, thank you." I said, "Watch out for the crazy." She says, "You too."
Oh, nice. You both.
So that was it.
Yeah, you're both doing a thing that night that could lead to crazies, which is pretty funny.
That is correct. However,
Yeah.
normally I don't even know if I would have brought this story up had my friend Leonard on our trivia team not asked me the question that is the punchline to this story.
Oh.
He says, "Ryan, can you now get arrested for sex trafficking?"
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that great?
That's amazing. Also, I mean, you obviously not, but
No.
in a way, in kind
Strip
of
trafficking.
it is strip trafficking.
She's not necessarily having. I should have played Thunderstruck. I should have said, "Hey, you mind if we listen to the Smithereens' greatest hits?" How about a collection of music I have featuring Poison, Bon Jovi, and Bob Seger?
Yeah. How do you feel about that selection? Well, that's an interesting thing. If you drive, let's say that stripper. This is just hypothetical only.
Sure.
Let's say at Dandy Dan's, they got a room there, and the girls are encouraged to hey, buddy, you seem to be a big spender. You want to go get a room in the other room?
Oh, which
then
they do.
you did.
I don't know if they do at Dandy Dan's, but most places do.
Sure.
It's called
So
the Champagne Room or
So
the
maybe
VIP
you
room
did
or
sex
whatever.
traffic her. Maybe you did. You just don't know.
Oh
it.
yeah, maybe. But
They can't hold you accountable for that, though.
they can't. No, I mean, really, for all I know, she was going to the Thai place next door with the bars on the window. Who knows?
A Thai place with bars on the window?
Yeah. This is not a great part of town, Scott.
Okay. Let me ask you this. When you start doing things, you can set a miles limit, though, right? It doesn't just send you anywhere in Colorado. So
Yeah,
even though
it
they
does.
don't, it does? So even if,
Yeah.
wow, that seems risky to me. Because what if it was yeah, you got to go way out to a 3-hour away thing?
My buddy Chris Brown had to take somebody to Colorado Springs once, and the benefit of that is it's really good money. The drawback is that you usually don't find somebody then in Colorado Springs who wants to go back to Denver.
Yeah, good point.
It's not even like you find somebody in Colorado Springs who wants to go to Castle Rock and then somebody in Castle Rock who wants to go back to Denver, something like that. You basically are driving all the way back. You're long hauling.
Long haul?
I think is the long haul. Is that
the word?
there's a not long hauling. There is a term for it that deadheading.
Oh,
You're
okay.
deadheading.
Okay.
Because you're not. Yeah.
But the further you go, the more money the fare is, plus then the tip, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I'm just trying to get my head around how it works. 'Cause it's not like it's $5 fits all sort of solution.
Right.
It depends on how far you go. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Interesting. All right. Well, my hope is next time you pick up a stripper, that she brings her pole with her or something weird happens.
I just want a stripper that wants to talk on the drive, because I would have a lot of questions.
Right.
I don't know what they'd be right now, but I know I'd have them.
I
how long have
fully
you been
respect
doing
your decision to let people talk before you dive in.
Oh God, yeah.
That's the way to be. Absolutely, 100%. I totally respect that. I hope the next time you get a stripper, assuming it ever happens again, that they are chatty. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they'll go,
I know.
"You been driving long? Oh yeah, it's just this and that." And then I don't know where you go from there. Do you go to Dandy Dan's a lot? Like I don't know what you say.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'd say. So you work at how long have you worked at Dandy Dan's? I mean, I'd say that I did look at the destination just to, see where we were going, and
yeah. Here's what my guess is you'd find out. You'd find out that Daniela was an extremely nice person, and is off to do a job that is a job. And that'd have been
that
probably
she sees
it.
as a job and is nothing more than that, and
She wasn't going to go into full confession
paying her way through college, or
Right.
working her way through college.
I mean, maybe she has a kid. Like I'm fascinated with people's stories, so that's always fun to hear. But you're not going to get something. You're not getting some lascivious thing out of somebody like that.
Right. I did. There was one thing, and I forgot to bring this up, but I don't know how much it. If there's again without any story behind it, there's really not that. It's just kind of interesting, but. There was some whispering at her phone, but not like she was on a call, more like she was reading Facebook and somebody had said something and she's like, "Oh, wow." But at one point she goes, "Mira."
Oh,
Which
really?
means look. Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe there's
Maybe.
like a real. Maybe she says what she types. I do that sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll whisper it.
Yeah.
Or sometimes out loud on the show. I'll do it all the time. I'll just start typing, and so let me see that, and I'll say it as I search. So maybe that's what's going on. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah. Could
All
be.
right. well,
Anyway,
maybe Daniela will.
fun lift story. Not a whole lot more than just a quiet ride, but still.
You did have drunk Walmart mom. That's cool.
I had drunk Walmart mom. That was and at the time I even said to them, I said, "You guys are probably going to be the most memorable ride of the night." And they really only went 3 minutes, but it still was a lot more stuff going on during that drive than the stripper ride. But the stripper ride has been something that, for whatever reason, I'd been anticipating since I started lifting. I said, at some point, I'm going to give a stripper a ride to work.
Yeah, of course you are. And it turned out to be a lovely, fine time. No problem.
That's right.
All right. Well, that's all well and good. It's now
Speaking
time.
of Dandy Dan's.
Yeah, speaking of Dandy Dan's and his stripping club, check this out, everyone.
Be careful, may cause drowsiness.
Check it out, everybody. It's Dan the Tabletop Man, all the way here from beautiful North Carolina.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, man.
Hello.
How's Kicks
Hey,
out there?
Ibit.
Oh,
Yeah.
I heard Ibit gave my cousin Destiny a ride to work the other day.
You don't really. Can I confirm something? Do you really have a cousin named Destiny who's a stripper? Tell me that's true. Please be.
I do actually have a cousin named Amber who has taken plenty of pole dancing courses for quote unquote exercise.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen that.
okay.
I've seen that. You know what? I know someone who swears by it and swears that she just has amazing. She does look like she's in great shape.
Upper body strength has got to be crazy on that, because
and leg strength too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and
you
it's
gotta
true. I
have
guess
core
if you
strength
do that-
because you're pulling the rest of your body, keeping it up when you have your legs up there. I
Right.
can just imagine. I only say this, and this is not a joke. I was a gymnast in high school I was a gymnast for about 6 years.
Wait, what? You
And,
were the
so
guy
I
you
know-
put the powder on your hands and run toward the horse and flip and
Yeah.
all that?
So I was like top 20 in the state in vaulting and pommel horse, which is weird for a kid that was 6 foot in high school.
Yeah.
So I was actually a rare, because you guys know that I'm deaf in my right ear.
No.
Oh,
Oh,
I
no,
didn't
I
know
think
that.
I did know this.
Oh.
It's been a long
Yeah,
time
that's
since
right.
you told us. Yeah.
I found that out at a Nerdtacular at
Yeah.
a Vegas event where I stood on the wrong side of you and said something.
That's right. Oh, it might have been that actually might have been BlizzCon.
Oh, okay. Are you?
That's right.
Is
That's
it
When
exactly
Nerdtacular
what
in
it
Salt
was.
Lake.
Is it
Yes.
100% deaf in the one ear? Like nothing?
It's like 90 something percent, but it's easier to just tell people you're deaf than say,
Okay.
hey, it's 90 something percent. No, I'm basically deaf in my right ear.
Could you speak up? I'm 94.5% deaf in that ear. I love
Yeah, so
that.
it's one of those things where, like, if they made a hearing aid strong enough, like, I could hear it, but I would probably be so lost because
Yeah.
when you just get a sense out of nowhere, it'd be really, really weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
Because like 40-some years without hearing, all of a sudden I get that, so I wouldn't want to do that. Plus, it's a hell of a lot easier to sleep when you're deaf in one ear.
I was gonna say because the one good ear can be on the pillow, the other ear
Oh,
can
yeah.
be out in the open, and nobody can say anything to bug you, or you can't hear the dog barking. Or I guess that's bad if you're getting robbed or something. But your wife's there. she'll
Well,
take care
yeah,
of it.
but you still have those kind of extra senses and stuff. But the worst part is like when I'm going to get when I roll over, Janice goes, "Oh, so you're done?"
I love
So
that
anytime,
because if
anytime
you're shutting
if
down
we're
your
talking
ear.
about when I roll over, she's like, "Oh, so I guess we're not talking."
I
I guess,
love
yeah.
that.
Yes, the conversation's over.
That's great. I got to share
That's
that with
hilarious.
Kim. She will
Do
laugh
they
her
make
head off.
headphones where you can adjust each ear's volume independent? I guess you could just do that on the computer or on the device, just adjust the balance. But
Yeah, how do you
I
do
just
that?
don't. You know what's weird about that is since I don't even really mess with it. Sometimes you can still feel the vibrations on like your outer ears, so it really does feel weird.
I wonder if
You know,
those bone conduction audio things would work well for you, where you put a. How do those work? Yeah, but you have those.
It's possible. Well, it's kind of the subcochlear implant. I don't know if they would work because it's all nerve damage, so the nerves aren't getting anything anyway.
Yeah. Was this one of those
so
deals
it's-
where you were like the kid on The Simpsons who says, "My doctor said I'd have better hearing if I just keep my finger out of there"? Like, what happened? were you
Ralph
like
Wiggum,
born
I'm
with
guessing?
it? Yeah, Ralph Wiggum. Were you born with this? Was it a thing that happened as a result of something? I don't remember any of that stuff. If you've told
It
us.
is. So when I was about 2.5 or 3, I had meningitis really bad. And this is the 70s. So my dad always used to tell me the story that he kind of walked into my crib and I had this really weird, like my head was all cocked over and really, the muscles were all weird, crazy. So they took me into the ER and they pretty much told the doctors told my parents, they're like, hey, he's might not make it through the night, and if he does, he's probably going to be way developmentally challenged.
Jeez.
wow.
So they were like, so not only they worried that I was going to live, then they were worried that I was just going to be like a vegetable, the rest of my life. So
Yeah.
then, and they probably, this is kind of my theory, knowing drugs and stuff. So a lot of the drugs, heavy antibiotics that you would use for something like that, they probably dosed the hell out of me. And a lot of the side effects of a lot of those drugs are what they call ototoxicity, which is basically kills your hearing.
Yeah. Right.
So, and I'm wondering if, it beats being dead. So, I'll take being
Sure.
deaf in 1 ear
right.
to not being here. But I do have a pretty gnarly scar on the inside of my right ankle, which is one of those things where if I ever go on a killing spree, my wife's going to be able to identify me by the scar on the inside of my ankle. Because when they were giving me nutrition and stuff, they had to just shove it in my leg because they couldn't get you're that small, they couldn't get a vein anywhere else.
Screw the dental
man.
records. Do you have his ankle handy?
Yeah. That is gnarly, man. I didn't know any of that stuff. So let me ask you this: have you, in your work as a pharmacist, have you ever had anybody go, "Yeah, I'm here to pick up 14 pounds of Barbitol," and you go, "That's 14 pounds of Chupacabra or some other name"?
No, you'd be surprised how much
Medicine
they
that
say that
keeps
your
you
other
from turning
senses.
into a goat. Clearly, yes.
And I give them the, when they walk out, they're like, big werewolf man off in the middle of Apex. We don't know. We hear it was a pharmacy mistake that might have been
That
caused.
may have
Right,
been
right. It turned it into
a big werewolf, man. Well, speaking,
you'd be surprised. Like your other ear ends up, compensating. I wouldn't say overcompensating, but I really like to think that I have better hearing because there are some times where I hear things and my wife's like, I didn't hear that, and and I can hear it from a long way. And then there's other times where I don't hear jack squat. So
well, you got a super ear. Your other ear is like on
Interesting.
fire ear,
Like
man.
compensating for like they say that with people who are deaf get other senses improved, but I wonder
Yeah.
if it just works if one of your ears
Yeah,
is
it's
gone
like
and
it's
then
like
one
Brian.
makes
It's
up
like
for it.
Ibbot's testicles. One is just this huge
Right.
throbbing sperm bank,
Massive. Yes.
and the other one's just this little raisin that doesn't do anything anymore. Oh, was I not? I said the loud
Speaking of
part.
which,
What's
do you have
weird,
anything-
too, is-
do you have anything for that, by the way, Dan?
Throbbing testicles? No, just take 2 of these and call Tina in the morning.
Yeah, no kidding. So he walks a little funny on the left side. Anyway, Dan, it's great to have you
Constantly
here.
walking in circles.
Yes, it is. Couple things. One, you had told me to keep you informed about my my blood tests, and they're still not here. I don't know how long they'll take. My guess is I'll hear for these people Monday, if I had to guess. Just given the normal time, but I'm checking right now. I have this app that lets me see, and according to
If
this,
your my chart or something along those lines.
yeah, it's whose app is this? This is called Helo. So HEALOW, and I guess a whole bunch of doctors' offices use this across the country to manage your stuff. And so if I go in here and I go, records.
Yeah, the thing with Starbuck for a while.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's interesting. So right here we got there's one that's called results. So I hit that, and it tells me when my last results were. Well, sadly, the latest one was October, so I have nothing yet. So this is probably where it'll show up. But anyway, I was going to tell you this one thing the lady told me. Okay, and Dan's probably gonna agree with her. Is my thinking, because it was like she was like talking to you. She knew the things I'm supposed to be doing. She was very happy about the weight loss. She's like, this is great. This is what we wanted to see. This should go a long way to get numbers where we want them. How'd you do on diet? I said, really good. I didn't cheat. I did this. I did that. The only sugar I had was, like just raw ass sugar was on New Year's Eve. And it was all planned out, and you need the whole thing. And she's like, oh, that's fine. You can be more, you can have more of the stuff you like when you want it. It's just, you just can't go crazy. And I said, well, I was really hardcore on this. I want a good first impression on this new blood test. And she says, how about lots of water? I said, oh, tons of water. Drink anything else? I said, diet soda here and there, but no, it's all sugar-free / calorie-free soda. Didn't have a single regular soda in the entire time. She looks at me sternly and says, well, I'd like to see no soda at all, she says.
Yeah, that's a bit extreme right there.
It seemed a little extreme, but it made me feel slightly guilty, so I haven't had any since. But anyway, the point is... you should
be happy that you're doing that, because you used to drink regular soda at times?
Yeah, I would probably have, I don't know. Definitely if I was getting food somewhere, I'd get Coke. If I was gonna... I've never been one of those people that just has a big Coke next to him all the time. That's just nursing it all day. I don't do that. Never done that. But so it's usually a meal thing, and maybe if I was to average it out, it was like 2 times a week before. No big deal.
Right, but still, you'd be surprised how much sugar is actually in regular soda.
Yeah, there's a ton of
surprised.
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I kind of got not hooked, but I got a taste for Coke Zero, because to me, now that I've got no sugar in me, it tastes like just Coke to me. It doesn't taste any different to me. Everyone else notices the difference, but I don't notice the difference. And so to me, it's like getting a Coke. So if we go out somewhere, I'm like, all right, I'm getting Coke tonight, but it's Coke Zero or it's Diet Coke if they don't have that. And but it wasn't very much. It wasn't like a ton, but man, was she all worked up about me drinking the soda of any kind. She was like, oh, we'd like to see no soda.
Yeah, there's a lot of sodium in even diet soda, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you're just happy that people are taking
that they're taking steps, right? And it's not like I go to the gas station 3 times a day and fill up my 44-ounce big gulp.
Do a big gulp, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Well, it's not like you said, I'm not really doing a whole lot different, but I did eat 1 less candy bar last week.
Right.
It's not like anything like that.
Yeah, and she saw me and she went, oh, you have lost weight. And I said, yeah, it feels good. And she was like, and you're feeling better. I said, yeah, every day it feels great in the daytime. For whatever reason, I don't get as tired in the day. I say that today, but I'm super tired today. I don't know why. But anyway, the point is, no results yet. When they come, the first people I tell are my family, and then I'll tell Brian Ibbett, and then I'll tell Dan the tabletop man.
There you go.
Who will then turn it into a deck building game, and we can all play Scott's Blood.
A nice medical checking your records deck building game.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Oh, and that leads me to the second
make
thing
sure
I
you
wanted to say.
screenshot those. I think you did that the last time. So
that is true.
Screenshot those and send them on over to me.
Now, here's the second thing I wanted to say, because it was based on our last conversation, and I have to give you props for this because I ended up loving it. I bought Shards of Infinity, or is it Eternity?
I think it's Infinity.
Yes, I keep getting them mixed up. Shards of Infinity.
Yes, it's Shards of Infinity.
Made by that Magic the Gathering pro guy that you mentioned that also worked on Ascension, and it's also a lot like Ascension in lots of ways, but it's like sci-fi, kind of fantasy sci-fi thing. They have it on PC. They have it on iOS. I bought it was only $6 on PC and like something similar to that on iPad. So I bought it in both places just so I'd have this thing with me. And man, oh man, do I like that game. It's very, very good. It is a great deck building game. And if you like that sort of thing, I feel like that is a great one of those. It's awesome.
I wish you would have done that a couple weeks ago. I would have sent you one for Christmas, because I sent you something else you might like. And Ibbett, I got you something to pimp out at something you do like and you do have. So hopefully you haven't pimped out something. I'm hopefully trying to get them out this weekend because things have been a little busy around here. So I've got a little southern flavor for both you guys and a game for each one.
Oh, good. We probably shouldn't say pimp a lot though, because Brian's been sex trafficking in his car, and we don't want to.
Yeah. Actually, if I get 3 more strippers, then I think I've officially become a pimp. So,
oh my gosh! Can we get to a place where Brian does? You need to cosplay as a pimp, just one time.
A shrimp pimp.
Imagine Brian with the big frilly hat and the big wide coat and the cane doing the thing.
That'd be great. Oh yeah.
Oh,
like the big the big
Man.
furry sombrero or something.
And you know what, Brian? So three strippers is okay. When you get to 5, you get your free goblet.
Oh, is that how
Oh,
that
nice.
works? Okay.
With crunk? Does it come with crunk in it, or do I have to?
It
purchase
comes with a little bit of bling.
Okay.
You know, some
Four
some
Loko?
bling in it.
Some bling, and then
Yep.
if you want,
And if
crunk,
Scott has anything
yeah.
to do with it, probably some Coke somewhere. We're not sure what kind, but some Coke.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, Captain Kipper says my name is Brian Might. I like that. That's pretty good. All right. So Dan, give us our big tabletop fun for the week.
Well, I have a pharmacy story for you guys.
Oh,
today.
please do. Yeah, go
So
ahead.
I got to try to remember some of these during the week. And don't worry, everybody out there, there's no HIPAA violations here. I'm not going to use any names.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a random story that may or may not be true. Probably is. But so I get a call this week from one of the technicians. So basically what happens in our place, the technicians will call us and be like, hey, this blah, blah, blah. So she calls me up and she's like, hey, this man wants counseling. I'm like, great. So that's kind of what we do. We counsel patients. And she's like, all right, well, he's a little out of it. He said his mom just passed away and this gentleman is 60 something. She's like, he's a little out of it. He keeps repeating himself, but he wants some counseling. I'm right. All right. So what does he want counseling on? She's like, he wants counseling on sildenafil. I said,
Okay.
he wants counseling on Viagra? And she said, yeah. So the guy called me up. He's a little out of it because his mom passed away, but he wants counseling on Viagra.
Wow.
So I'm like, all right, send him on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, Mr. Johnson, what can I do for you?
Oh, you had to use
Thank you,
my
by the way.
name. Yeah,
Thank you for doing
thanks.
that, by the way. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
You know, Ibbot has the same number of syllables, but it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, go ahead. That
So
was funny.
so I'm listening for Mr. Johnson, and I don't hear anything. And I'm like, Mr. Johnson, are you there? And I'm like, you there? And all I hear is I'm like, this guy just fell asleep waiting for counseling on Viagra. I'm like, you just can't make this. And of course, like, so we have one of those places where your calls can be recorded or monitored for quality assurance purposes.
Yeah.
So I have to like go through the Mr. Johnson, are you still there? This is Dan, the pharmacist. And you're like, and so then I just keep hearing, and it was like in perfect rhythm. I'm like, I said, disconnecting caller asleep.
That is amazing.
That's awesome.
Oh wait, so you actually say that at the end to sort of?
Yeah, well, so like every month or so, you'll have like Jeannie from accounting or whoever it is, comes over and be like, hey, you didn't ask for this or you didn't do that. I'm like, well, I do that on every call. She's like, well, 94%. I'm like, great. I'm a pharmacist. Get out of here. I don't care. I just want to make sure somebody doesn't die from this or that. I don't care if I said, this or, what the company mandate is, because you have to say, thanks for choosing blah, 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 blah. Thanks for choosing.
Yeah.
Thanks for choosing Dandy Dan's.
Yeah, Dandy Dan's pharmacy
Dandy
advice.
Dan's pharmacy advice. Viagra and NoDoz together.
NoDoz and Viagra,
That's
bad
right.
combo.
Pharmacy and stripping.
Sure. Yeah. Here's what's funny is you mentioned snoring. That's the other side effect of the 4 pounds, whatever it is I'm at, where I've lost. I stopped snoring about 10 pounds ago. Kim says, yeah, you stopped snoring. You're not snoring anymore. I'm like, really? Like,
I don't know if either one of you guys, I don't remember if I ever heard you guys talk about this. I don't know if either one of you guys ever had like apnea or if you
I
have
do.
either one
I
of you guys
currently
ever.
do still have apnea.
yeah,
and
Brian's
it's-
got his
It's just
machine.
Really?
a soft palate. Has nothing to do with weight, but it's a
Yeah,
soft
usually
palate.
that goes away, but if it's a soft palate thing, there's not really a whole lot you can do. I mean, possibly they could surgerize you, but you're probably,
Can they do that? I didn't know that was a
and
thing.
CPAPs are so small these days, and it's a lot
It
easier.
apparently is a severe enough apnea. My doctor says, wow, I haven't seen, one this severe that I don't think surgery is possible. Maybe it is, but
Did he say this is the softest palate I've ever seen?
Were they saying that about your testicle or about your palate?
well, oddly both. Well, he said about my palate, but he was holding my testicle at the time that he said
okay.
it.
So he was. Could be some confusion there. I would understand that.
Yeah, it's odd that you bring that up.
So
but,
you've got the full TIE Fighter setup, right? Like the full face mask and everything.
How big do you think this thing is? Do
I
you think
don't
I've
know.
got like Thor's helmet on my face?
No, I picture it as being.
No, it's.
I don't know what I picture.
I if you know what, I could run and grab it and put it on to show you what it looks like, because I can disconnect it from the hose. I think you've seen it when I stayed at your house. I think I showed it.
right. You're upstairs and you did show it to me.
Yeah, but I have a different one than I did then, but it's still as non-invasive as that. It really is. It is basically just goes around my nose. Like
Okay.
doesn't block my mouth, doesn't block any other part. It is just basically that.
But it's
Yeah.
bigger than just cannula, right? Nasal cannula. You know what that is? The little thing that goes
Oh,
into
the
you when you have
pinch.
like surgery and stuff, or when you're in a
Yeah.
hospital.
Yeah.
It's a little bigger
you-
than that, but not quite big.
Mm.
Yes, you mean the tube, the air.
Yeah, the thing that goes over your nose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Barely bigger than that. I mean, it's.
Oh, good. Well, that's good.
Yeah,
They've
it's
come a long way.
It's barely bigger than my nose, really. To be quite frank.
Oh yeah, they don't. I'm looking at pictures and the stuff I think of.
That's what she said.
The stuff I think of is like the big helmety thing. They're probably been decades gone. I don't know why I
Yeah.
still think.
I don't know
of
about
those.
decades, man. About 10 years ago, I went to we went on a hockey trip out to Vegas. We used to play hockey in Vegas in March every year, and to a tournament. You know, we would go play hockey. It's just an excuse to go play hockey, drink beer, and gamble. But we would go out to Vegas, and a buddy of mine that I would stay with sometimes, he had CPAP. Man, that thing was Darth Vader. It drove me up. Even being deaf in one ear, it used to drive me up a wall. And it was huge, and it was, oh god, it was
Right.
awful.
Really?
So I was gonna have you look at the. Yeah, see, the one I have isn't quite that bad. That guy's. It's like he's got like a unicorn horn or something. On there. But I've got the Wisp. Now, if you search for Wisp, there's the Wisp CPAP headgear, which is what I have. There's also Hello Wisp, which is discreet herpes treatment.
Whoa!
I have the
hello.
former, not the latter.
Woo. Yeah, that's when Dan with one ear. He better hear you right when you're at the counter, or else you're gonna walk home with that.
Yeah, well,
I need a replacement Wisp. All right, got a herpes.
No problem.
treatment, discreet herpes treatment coming up.
Yep. there
oh,
you
and that's
go.
when you might as well just go to the doctor and get, and get some Valcyclovir, because it's a lot easier than grabbing some Wisp.
What's Valcyclovir? What'd you call it? What is
You
it?
can take
It's-
Nicole
it's,
out of the show, but you can't take the show out of Nicole. Something like that.
It's just another medication that you would use for outbreaks and for herpetic outbreaks. You use it twice a day for 3 days or so, and some people use it daily.
Now, when people,
Stuff like
my
that.
wife and my son both have a genetic tendency toward occasional cold sore, especially in the wintertime. That's a form of herpes. It's just not an STD, right? Like what?
Right. Well, I mean, it's just a different form. Pretty much, whatever. Probably like 97% of the public may have some form of that or another, and it just doesn't always express itself. Some people may never get cold sores, and they may get cold sores like once every 10 years. But yeah, it's just another form that usually just comes out at certain times, certain stressors in your life or in environmental stressors, and it's nothing big. That's why, kind of, an antiviral, the Abreva and stuff like that. Even that is a minor antiviral that's over the counter, a little cream or ointment or whatever it is that you kind of use on those cold sores, and it just helps it from spreading. It's not going to make it go away, but it helps it to go away a little quicker, so it doesn't get any bigger.
So does the fact
So I
that
mean, those things are just harmless, though.
does the fact that I've never had one mean I'm better than those people? Is that what it means?
It means you might not be kissing your wife enough. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you can pretty much get a lot of that stuff anyway, or maybe it just doesn't,
never
just
had
doesn't
one.
come out of you. Actually, as much as you stress out about things, Scott, I'm surprised you don't get,
I know.
mouth ulcers or
Yeah.
cold sores.
I
from
agree.
Anyway.
I agree. I should
I
be
get-
covered in them, and I don't get them.
I get a cold sore right after I get a cold. So basically, as soon as I'm done with the cold, I get a cold sore just as the cold is starting to fade. And if I do some Abreva, although maybe there's better stuff, you're saying that there's like this 3 days
Yeah,
3
but that's
days
not going to really,
Naltrexone
you're
film or
it's
whatever it is.
I don't want to call it risk versus reward. That's kind of a harsher way of saying it. Like, you wouldn't even want to put your body through meds like that. Not that they're
Oh,
that
really?
hard, but you don't even want to
Oh,
put your
okay.
body through meds like that just for a cold sore. You're better off, swishing with something like a Benadryl or something along those lines, because just kind of helping that a little bit helps to get some of the reaction, even though that's not antiviral. But some of the things like Magic Mouthwash will have like Benadryl, a steroid, and other medications in there, and that's what they'll give people who have those chronic ulcers of their mouth is a Magic Mouthwash.
I've never heard of this
Let's talk
Magic
a little bit
Mouthwash.
more
What
about
is-
Magic Mouthwash.
Yeah.
because
Tell me more about
it
that.
sounds fantastic.
Yeah, what is that? Is that a thing you have to concoct yourself, or did someone sell it like that?
Oh, so that's a compound. That's why I talk about, like, when you're compounding at a pharmacy, or my wife works at a compounding pharmacy. There's a lot of different formulations, but Duke's Magic Mouthwash is usually nystatin, some Benadryl, and then some hydrocortisone.
Duke
Gotcha.
is-
you
So
have-
it's just,
wait,
a,
who's
it's just a
Duke?
pharmaceutical cocktail, basically, that you guys come up with,
Yeah,
depending on the
exactly.
combination of symptoms.
Oh, so
dude,
when you
there's
say
so many fun
Duke,
things.
when you say Duke, is that a person in particular, or is that just what you call it?
Oh, the hospital, Duke Hospital, Duke University
Oh,
is right
Duke
by,
University. Oh, because I just found a thing on
Yeah.
Google that says a lot of people use either Mary's Magic Mouthwash or Duke's Magic Mouthwash. And so the Duke thing apparently is named after whatever they came up with.
Now, I think it's made unless it was some Dr. Duke. I thought it was from Duke Hospital, which is over here, but that's probably because location bias. Since I went to school right by Duke,
So it could be if there's a St. Mary's college or St. Mary's Hospital or something that's known for having a good magic mouthwash too.
And it's usually they're just a little different formulations. Some use lidocaine as well, which having cold sores, they kind of suck. So if you've got a little bit of lidocaine that goes in there, that's going to numb it down and helps people eat. A lot of times, when you get elderly and you have these really bad sores, or cancer patients, a lot of times will get a lot of sores in their mouth. So they'll write these things to help coat it, help those reactions go down, and help them be able to eat because they have so many sores in their mouth.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's saying here it's a bunch of cancer treatments. The idea that I could swish around some form of Benadryl is a crazy idea. That seems crazy to me because I always think it was just a dumb little pink pill. That's all I ever think it is.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. So it's usually swish and spit, but you can actually swallow that stuff because everything that's in it is totally fine for you. Unless if they screw up the lidocaine component and you swallow too much of that, you could die. But that's never going to happen because it's very, very little in the lidocaine that's in there.
Well, don't tempt me. I'm going to try. I want to get myself some Duke's Magic mouthwash. I don't even have a need for it. It just sounds cool. Anyway, all right, there you go. Now a board game. Do you have a board game?
I'll get you talking about a board game.
All right,
Jeez,
what do you got? Give it to us.
So, hey, do you guys, I don't know if you were, somebody was mentioning it on Twitter, so I wanted to kind of bring it up. There's a company that, actually it was on Facebook on the Tadpole. Some buddy was talking about Kickstarter, whether they want to get in on this Kickstarter or that. Because I don't know if you guys remember, I don't remember this as much, but I know the company brings Restoration Games. They bring back a lot of things. They were the ones that I kind of mentioned probably a year ago or so. Fireball Island, they brought back Fireball Island and they did a Kickstarter for it.
Right.
And they've got a bunch of expansions for Fireball Island. But the new one they're bringing back from the 80s is Dark Tower. It's an old board game that they're bringing back to Return to Dark Tower.
Yeah,
this is the one that had the device in the middle, right? That would light up and make the noises. I always wanted one of those. Damn it.
Cool.
So now you can get it.
Look at that.
Next week, the Kickstarter will be going live. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because somebody was a little worried on the Tadpole, like, is this going to fund? Is it going to be something that will actually get made? Well, Restoration Games is a pretty big company, and they've got a lot of good designers that have been working on this. Now, Rob Davio is kind of the main designer, and Justin Jacobson, who's from Restoration Games, they are been working on it. But also Isaac Childress, who made Gloomhaven, is one of the designers who's been helping out because he's got his doctorate in like kinetics or pharmacos. He's got some sort of crazy doctorate, and he's just an absolute genius. He's been helping working on the tower itself because obviously that's got to be the hardest thing for them to bring back is that tower and make it working, and actually making it working so that it's cost effective to make. So I'm sure I've got two things. It's probably going to be about $100 or so, and it's also probably going to make $1 million probably within the first week of this.
Yeah, right. So this is something too that if you are planning, if you think you're going to be getting this, or actually if you're sure you're going to be getting this, get in on it as soon as the Kickstarter goes live because there's probably going to be early bird.
Well, hopefully not early birds. Early birds are fairly frowned upon in a lot of circles.
Sure.
Because you feel like
upon
you're getting
because I always
screwed.
miss them.
Right, exactly. And then you feel like you're screwed.
Yeah.
If you don't get in on it. So and something like this that is going to fund. So early birds, they're good for one or two things. What they do is they help propel the project early, maybe get it close to being funded early, and that gives you that little bump that people want to get in on. Because if you start slow, you're gonna have a hard problem, getting out. I really don't want to give too much fodder. If you start slow, you're gonna have a hard problem finishing.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Listen,
right.
Jamie needs stuff from you too.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, good point. But so you get in early so that you're in one of the first batches, hopefully, that gets delivered. Then would probably
exactly. Yeah, that's going to be the big thing. That, and make sure that once the backer kit goes live, you want to get in on that right away. I don't know that you probably can search on YouTube if anybody out there wants to see possibly some demos and stuff. Remember, it's probably all in prototype form. There's probably some on YouTube. You can find some of the Dark Tower. We've talked to Justin in the past. Justin Jacobson, the head of Restoration Games, a great guy. Hopefully, going to have him on next week to talk to us on the Geek All Stars. But I really highly recommend getting in on this. And again, there's probably going to be 1 million stretch rewards too. So you want to get it while you can.
I had a friend who had this game, and I thought it was awesome. I don't remember hardly anything about it. I just remember thinking it was so cool when we played it.
Same.
Yeah. So I would be super interested in this.
I already know that I'm going to be putting money into that damn Marvel Chibi's looking miniatures game.
Oh man, and that looks so good. Have you ever? I
It
don't know
does
if you
look good.
have you ever played the Arcadia Quest or Starcadia
No.
Quest? Any of those?
No, are those also by Come On or by?
I don't know anything yet. I'm trying to get my my contact over at Simon or Come On to give me a little info on there. But I think it's going to be like that look because it's also chibi. The miniature chibis look exactly the same. So I think it's going to be kind of like that game. And those games are a lot of fun. They're just a blast to play.
It looks. Somebody in the
What if I
chat.
could get a
go
cheaper
ahead.
version if I have them just give me the STL files? I'll print my own chibis and
That's right.
just send me the board and the instructions, the dice.
Freaking Alexa, sorry, she started yelling and I had to mute myself.
Hmm.
I don't know why she went off. Anyway, there's a screenshot right now in the chat that shows I guess this is the old game. Obviously, it looks like the old game.
Oh, the one with the little dial pad on the base of the tower.
Yep. And my
yeah.
memory is that this was not cheap then, let alone what it might cost to reproduce this thing now. Like it was already expensive. So if this thing ends up being, I mean, what would you say, Dan? You think they'll be in like the $80 mark, somewhere in that range, probably?
Are you saying 100 is what? you
No,
said?
were you
I
saying
would
100?
say now I don't have I haven't talked to Justin at all to ask him what it's going to be, but if I was a betting man, I'm gonna say like 120. But I could be completely wrong.
That's
I mean,
expensive.
obviously they want to get it in everyone's hands, but I mean that thing has got to be pretty expensive to produce.
Yeah, they don't.
And if you go to restorationgames.com, is there / return to Dark Tower with hyphens in between them. If you sign up to get notified that when it goes live on Kickstarter and you back the game, if it funds, you get an active player marker, like a little gold coin looking thing, like a little Return to Dark Tower challenge coin
oh
for
yeah, look
free,
at that. Yeah, that's cool.
which is pretty dang slick.
And this is the same company that did Unmatched. They did the that brought back like the Star Wars something battles, Epic Duels is what it was, and they made it into Unmatched, and that game is amazing too. You guys would have loved that.
Oh, we
too.
talked about
So-
the Battle of Legends that we talked about
Yep.
a few weeks ago. Yes.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
And that's a
Yeah.
lot of fun, and they've got so many more things on the horizon for that game too. They've got the Bruce Lee set, and they've got a whole bunch of things for Jurassic Park, and they keep teasing a lot more of the different sets they're going to put out for that. But
God,
so this
these
company, it's good.
You know what they need to work on? Do you remember a game called Dungeon? I think it was Dungeon with an exclamation point, and it was like a light version of Dungeons and Dragons. You basically went along a board.
They remade that, and it's out in Target and Walmart now. So I just bought it like
I was
5
gonna
or 6
say.
years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think I just saw
Yeah.
that somewhere. Yeah,
And I'm pretty sure Rob
exclamation
Davio, one of their guys, since Rob Davio was a big Hasbro or Parker Brothers guy for years and years, I think he's the designer, might have been one of the designers of Dungeon as well.
point. Oh yeah.
Oh, look at that! Yeah, I could just go buy it. I could just buy it on Amazon right now. Okay, well, somebody already redid it.
That was a cool.
It's
game
good though
too.
too. I mean, it's
I
a lot of
love
fun, and I
that
had fun with
game.
the family.
Yeah, that one's good.
Yeah, because you had all the different colored rooms, and you collect special stuff from just the specific colors of rooms.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like
man.
it was like a game that gave you kind of a D&D experience, but you could have it with your mom. You know,
And
like
it
you-
would exactly, and it would take half
Yeah.
an hour.
Yeah.
like
quick
that
and quick and easy. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I played it with my kids, and they were probably like 7 and 10 at the time when we played it, and they had a
Mhm.
blast.
Well, now
Yeah.
that they're in their 30s, how do they feel? Just kidding. I'm not that old.
Actually, DJ turns 13 on Monday.
Holy crap! You know
Wow.
that's old enough for him to say, "Where's my phone, Dad? I want a phone." Or wait, does he already
Oh
have
no,
a phone?
he has a phone.
Okay.
Oh, here's he won't listen to this, but so a couple weeks ago, he had his phone and he was trying to do some homework, and he opened up his phone to look something up, and I saw his phone, and I was like, "Give me that damn phone!"
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to, so I opened it up, and on his homepage
Yeah.
of his Safari,
Yeah.
Pornhub
Oh,
homepage
Yep.
for Pornhub.
Yep.
oh no!
They start young. That's what
I
they
was
do.
ready to kill him.
Yep.
Oh,
They're-
jeez.
they're-
Well, look, now it's out. I'm just warning you right now, Dan. Now it's out on the this conversation is now on the internet. So, in 30 years when he goes to run for public office, somebody's gonna play this clip.
Oh, don't worry, dude. Standards are so much lower for running for public office now. It's
That's
totally
true. Yeah,
fine.
now you can do anything.
Yeah, you can do
Just
anything.
grab
No,
it by
if that's the
iPhone.
worst thing you do, they'll put a billboard up for you.
Yeah, you'll
It'll
actually
say,
win. Yeah.
It'll say, DJ, the worst he did was look at Pornhub.
Right, exactly.
He'll lose because the other guy was in porn, and everyone will vote for him somehow. He'll
Right, right.
the guy
That's
that was
what-
in porn. All right, this has all been good. I love all this stuff. Good recommendation as always. Dan, anything else going on you want to mention before we go?
Oh, we just did our. I did listen to you and Jury talk about episode 9.
Oh yeah, we had that.
I listened to you guys talk to him.
Spoiler thing. Yeah.
I real quickly, I'll say I don't want to pull out the everything you just said is wrong. Because I definitely agree with a lot of what you said. I think we also these days get into the point. In this day and age, we get into the point where we overanalyze so many things that, like, yeah, sure, you could have just done this or that, but if you do that, a lot of times you'd be like, yeah, well, we could have just solved Lord of the Rings by getting the big birds to just fly the ring in there to begin with,
Right.
stuff like that. And Star Wars suffers from a lot of that. Well, why didn't they just do this? In Episode 4, like my favorite movie of all time. All they had to do, like, why did they need to go down a trench? It's on the side of a circle.
Yeah.
All they can do is come straight out from the other side.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I try not to overthink things.
Right.
It was just a fun romp, in my opinion.
Well-
but I did agree with. I mean, I had to argue. I had things that I didn't like, but Star Wars.
Yeah, it's
I
Star
don't
Wars.
think you can grade all movies on the same scale. I think you
Right.
grade superhero movies, science fiction, fantasy stuff on one scale. I think you grade stuff like, Uncut Gems and The Irishman and stuff like that on a different scale.
Absolutely.
And it's totally fine.
I think that that's true, and I also think there's another thing going on. It's not just that we're overanalyzing, it's that we've had so much of this content in our brains for so long and as part of the collective culture that it's impossible for us not to in some ways, and it's on the movie makers to fool us even better, or to make us not think about this MacGuffin more, because we are thinking about that stuff more because we're exposed to it all the time, and we've kind of seen everything. Everything feels like a riff or an iteration on a previous story, and so our expectations are different than they were when you were a kid seeing your first talkie in the 20s,
Sure.
So-
Take
Well,
that,
music-
Scorsese.
Right. So I don't know.
Or like the same. Like how many iterations of song can you actually come up with? That's got to be the hardest thing nowadays, is coming up with a good song. Movies are the same. Like, you've told the same story a million times. You're just trying to make it better.
Yeah, that's all it is. And so I think it's easy to say, well, everybody's gotten super analytical, and I think that's true. There's some of that, and certainly the internet has made it so we're all hearing each other say it. But also, we've seen a lot of movies, so I can't help but compare Mad Max Fury Road to everything else, or whatever. And then movies I thought were amazing when I was a kid, like The Black Hole, turns out are garbage. They're so bad.
About right after, what was it, about a month and a half ago when Disney Plus came out, I showed The Black Hole to my daughter, and she's 16, and she, I'm sure she was just humoring me, but the only thing she really liked was Vincent and the other dude and Maximilian, of course. Like, and you try to remember these things because we're all about the same age. Like, I remember being a little kid, and I don't remember half of the end. I just know that it was all screwed up at the end.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my God, what the? And while watching it now, I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I still love it, but it's so bad.
It's really
Oh,
bad.
it's so bad.
It's really bad. But we're gonna watch it we just
And,
watched
and
it
all
for
these
Film
guys,
Tech.
you're like, yep.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's real dumm.
Yeah, it is. You're right. It is definitely, and of course, it has hand wavy physics where it's like,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
just gonna fly through space to
Right.
the other side of the
Yeah.
other side of the
Look,
traffic.
I'm out in space without a suit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he seemed just fine, didn't he? There at the end, toward the
Yeah,
end.
totally did.
Yeah, it's real dumb. Anyway, it's always fun to hang out with you, Dan. Make sure everybody out there
Yeah.
checks out the Geek Jock Blog podcast, the Geek All Stars podcast, Geek Jock Blog on Twitter. Anything else you want to throw out there?
Oh, just check out that the podcast. We just, like I said, we just did a spoiler alert, episode 9. So we talked about we spoil everything on there, and we have the really bad thing where our reviews of movies are longer than the movie. So be prepared for that.
Nice.
So enjoy that. That's the Geek All Stars, and you boys have a great week. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm out next week, so I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no
Okay.
problem. We'll see you further into the month of January. Goodbye, Dan. Okay. He's off. He's out.
Excellent.
Well, that was fun.
Good stuff. That means I need to actually play an app next week.
Oh yeah, you should play an app. I will too.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't done that in a while.
Something.
It's been a while, actually. Oh, I should have saved the Thing of Eternity or of Infinity or Shards of Infinity.
Thing of eternity.
Yeah, Thing of Eternity. Great name. Anyway, hey, we're done. That's going to do it for us. We'll be back Monday. Got to do week shows and all that stuff next week, so stick around for that. We also, like I mentioned, have Film Sack this weekend. There will be Dungeons. Happens on Sunday. What else? New Current Geek went up last night. Lots of content. Plenty of content. To keep your ears happy all weekend if you're into that sort of thing. Don't forget to help us out at patreon.com/TMS, for that is why there is a 5th episode a month. And actually, I have an idea I got to talk to Brian about after the show, among other things about that. But we'll let you guys know what that is next week if anything happens from it. Leave us your voicemails. Tell us what you think of the world, 801-471-0462, or send us your emails at themorningstream@gmail.com. That'll do it for us today. Probably a song, though. Do you have
A
one?
song to take us out? Why not? This one was a late addition to the show, and for obvious reasons, we lost Neil Peart, drummer for Rush, earlier today to cancer, and sucks.
Yeah.
Got me listening to a really good album of theirs called Feedback before the show here. It came out in 2004, was an all-cover album by Rush. And on there is this cover of the Yardbirds' Heart Full of Soul. Haven't played this on the show before, so let's play it now. Here is Rush featuring the late, great, one of the greatest drummers, if not the greatest drummer of all time, Neil Peart, and Heart Full of Soul.
All right, here it is. We'll see you guys on Monday.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Frog Pants Network. Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
What kind of a deal?
Hey, you know what's interesting about Neil Peart is when I saw that documentary,